Hi, I'm Brad Humphrey, and this is Learning While Listening. In today's message, we want to talk about building retention among your workers. You know, many contractors really are providing more training opportunities for their workers than I've ever seen before. Whether it's sending a worker to a national or regional conference, paying for night classes at a technical school, or lining up a professional coach, contractors of all sizes understand the significance of learning, and it's a never-ending process. It requires something more from contractors than ever before. What is frustrating, however, is the fact that what an employee retains from their learning experience is often much less than hoped for by the contractor. I field calls oftentimes from disappointed contractors when they have just served up a great learning opportunity for a foreman or a project manager or superintendent, and within 30 days the individual appears to have just forgotten all that they've learned. Building retention in our workers is not only possible, but there is much more that the contractor can do to drive this reality. Consider a few techniques to build greater learning retention for those workers whom you invest in to becoming more effective and efficient. First of all, match the needed learning with the right training. Contractors need to clearly understand what are the learning objectives for any class or workshop that they want their employee to attend. While the class topic might be how to improve job site layout, what the employee really needs a class on is blueprint reading. Always work to match what the employee clearly needs to learn with the learning objectives for the class. This is an easy and obvious mistake that many contractors make when they don't look close enough at the workshop's learning objectives. A second tip, prepare the employee to what you expect from their learning experience. Let your employees know that upon returning from their learning experience, you expect them to make a presentation on A, what did they learn overall from the learning session? B, what did they learn from the session that will help them improve their performance? And C, what did they learn that would benefit my company? Hey, I'm paying for it. I ought to get something out of this thing. Preparing your employee with such expectations will be a sure way to sharpen their learning focus and attention when they're in that learning position. A third technique, engage the employee to teach other employees. Even the experienced trainers will confirm that teaching a topic always reinforces and strengthens their own knowledge of the topic. So, upon a recent learning experience by one of your people, whether they've attended a workshop or learned something of value on the job from a personal coach, have the employee present their new knowledge to others in the company. Executing this technique sooner rather than later can help to reinforce the needed retention. And now let's look at a fourth technique. Purposely follow up with an employee on new learning experiences for 21 days. Most research points to the fact that to develop a new habit takes about 21 days of regular use of a skill before that skill becomes almost second nature. The same approach might strengthen your own employee's new learning experience by following up with them regularly over the first 21 days to ensure that they are using the newly acquired skill. Technique number 5, provide additional opportunities for employees to exercise their new learning. This may sound very elementary to even share, but I'm surprised how many times a worker will be sent to learn some new skill or technique, and then upon returning to their company, not be immediately engaged with doing what they just learned. Let me give you a few classic examples. The contractor sends one of his best operators to check out and learn how to run the newest in-total station layout equipment. Fine, it's great. But when the employee returns, the contractor decides to postpone the purchasing of the equipment for another year or more while still expecting the trained worker to be able to retain what he once knew. Or another contractor begins training a new worker on a new software package that will combine accounting, estimating, and client contact options. Once the initial training is completed, the contractor allows the workers to maintain the older software version. Thus, the workers are really not utilizing the new software, and the contractor wonders why they're not making any real progress. This fifth point is important as it suggests that training is ideal when it is closely tied to what is needed and when it's needed. So when you plan to engage your workers in training, be sure to consider that they will be using their new training just as soon as possible. This will jumpstart the retention process. My personal advice for contractors is if they have some new skills and knowledge that really is needed now, then train. If, however, the learning will not be followed up with application back at work, you may be wasting your time and money to train your workers. If a worker at any level cannot almost immediately put what they have just learned into action, the retention of the new learning experience cannot be seriously expected. Hey, train and educate your workers. Just be as committed to building strong retention opportunities so you don't have people forgetting what they've learned. Hey, here's to remembering what we learned. This has been another podcast in Learning While You're Listening. Have a great day.